Calgary Emergency Management Agency Chief Sue Henry and our Director of Capital Priorities and Investment, Francois Bouchard. After you hear today's update, we'll take some questions, one question, one follow. And with that, I'll turn it over to the Mayor.
Thank you, Jose. Oki, Daranastada, Ambawastich, Tanse, and good afternoon, everyone. The continued work on stabilizing our water system is going quite well. We announced earlier this week that crews are doing critical maintenance on the Glenmore Water Treatment Plant, and that work is on track for being done by the end of this week. We're also pleased to say that treated water remains safe to drink. In some areas of the city, you may still be seeing a little bit of cloudiness in the water, something we call turbidity. It's expected to continue to varying degrees throughout the stabilization process, but we can reassure you that the water is completely safe to drink. And the cloudiness is expected to go down as the water system gets back up to regular state. Yesterday, we used 478 million liters of water, and our water team saw increased usage in the evening, and that is completely to be expected given the news that we provided you with yesterday morning that you could return to regular water use indoors. That usage is a little bit higher than we saw over the weekend, but we weren't surprised by it. People were getting back to doing things like their laundry and their dishes. And I also want to note that throughout the entire time that water reductions were requested from all of you, you managed to save more than 3.5 billion, and that's billion with a B, liters of water compared to your regular water use at this time. And now we're asking you that you return to your regular water use with a little bit of ease. We're asking you to go back to your regular habits a little bit slowly. And so instead of doing that marathon laundry session, maybe space it out over a few days. And there's nobody saying that you can't keep up some of your water savings measures as we come out of this. For some folks, you have said that using rainwater for your plants is giving them a lot more life. So let's keep those practices that we have gotten accustomed to. And we can keep doing things like turning off the tap when we're washing our hands and just really watching for how much water we're using. You may be asking, why do we need to spread out our indoor water usage now that indoor reduction guidelines have been lifted? Well, the stabilization work that we're doing right now is still underway, and that means there continue to be some vulnerabilities in the system. The Bearspaw South feeder main, which has just had the repair work done to it, has been brought up, and it is at about 50% of capacity. And since bringing that feeder main back online, the network of sensors that we have in place have not detected that there are any issues, and that's really good news. So we're going to go with the comparison of going through a surgery. We are now in post-op. We are in recovery mode, and we need to monitor how well our patient is doing. And with what we've seen throughout the last month, the last thing we want to do is put the feeder main or the system at risk again. So now that we have indoor water use back, there is a reason to limit our use as much as we can for a short period of time. And that's to make sure that we can lift those outdoor water restrictions as well. Faucets that are on the outside of your home are still using treated water. So let's make sure that we can ease into indoor use so we can get into outdoor use as well. So while we can get into normal indoor water use, and we are asking you to be smart about it, I know that you will take us up on this call because you have been smart water users throughout this entire process, and the world has been watching what great water stewards you have been. I'm now going to turn things over to Calgary Emergency Management Agency Chief Sue Henry.
Thank you, Mayor. Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us today. Yesterday, we were able to ease indoor water saving measures, and I know many people are very excited about that. We also saw Calgarians and visitors heed our call to ease into doing their indoor usage, not to overwhelm the system, and today we can see our demand remained stable. Thank you to everyone for helping spread out their water usage. While our system continues to stabilize, we ask you to continue to catch up on your indoor use a little bit at a time. We are still not in a place to relax our outdoor use, and I know some people heard the indoor use being relaxed and automatically started to think about their outdoor usage. We're just not there yet. We need to keep the whole system stable at this current level of pressure before we can relax to a lesser set of outdoor water restrictions. We are thinking about how to get you back to some level of outdoor use as soon as we can, but in the meantime, stage 4 outdoor watering restrictions remain in place for residents and businesses, as well as the current fire ban. We are lucky with the rain that we've had over the last few days. Our plants have continued to grow and thrive despite being in stage 4 restrictions. And until we move to fewer water restrictions, we will keep our non-potable river water pickups in place for both residents and industry. Just a reminder that even when we do move into easing outdoor restrictions, we will be doing it in stages to ensure that our system can handle the added usage. Today, we are excited to share that many of our recreation programs have resumed, including the reopening of most city-operated pools, ice rinks, and showers in both types of those facilities. This means that swimming lessons, learn to skate, aqua fitness, and ice hockey bookings are back on as of today. As we ease back into our regular operations, we're also looking forward to the reopening of additional amenities such as play structures, hot tubs, steam rooms, water slides, and kiddie pools very soon. We will continue to update calgary.ca with the most available information, so please stay tuned there. With that, I'd like to pass it over to Director Francois Bouchard.
Thank you, Chief Henry. Yesterday, we reached a critical milestone, and we're now able to ease indoor water saving measures. We've safely brought the feeder main back online, and it's working at 50% capacity. We have 2 pumps running at the Bearspaw Water Treatment Plant, and the feeder main is responding well thus far. Regular maintenance is continuing at the Glenmore Water Treatment Plant. This work is on track and will be completed by the end of the week. While our pipe is working at 50% capacity and the Glenmore Water Treatment Plant undergoes maintenance, it's critical that we continue to conserve water until the stabilization is complete. We want to thank Calgarians for continuing to follow the stage 4 outdoor water restrictions in place. Before we begin to gradually introduce some outdoor water use, we need to ensure that we can increase the flow and pressure in the system to meet an increased demand, and that the infrastructure is responding well. By meeting these milestones, we'll be able to confidently lift some of the outdoor water use restrictions. As a reminder, Calgarians may still see cloudy water when they turn on their taps. This is temporary, and the water continues to be safe to consume. I would like to thank Calgarians for continuing to do your part as we navigate water restrictions together. Every drop counts, and now I'd like to invite the Mayor back to the podium.
Calgary, Airdrie, Strathmore, Tsuut'ina Nation, and Chestermere, I want to thank you all again for the efforts that you've made in the past month to conserve water and accomplish great water savings. And I want to acknowledge everyone for their kind words of thanks to construction crews, the water team, the emergency operations team, and to city leadership. This really was a Team Calgary effort, and I know that we are all thankful for it. With normalcy returning to our water system, we can now focus on enjoying some of the highlights of summer. That includes music festivals, cultural events, and Calgary Stampede. I would encourage you to get out and experience everything that our city has to offer over the summer. And if you're coming to Calgary from other places, we're happy to host you. Our hospitality businesses, including hotels, restaurants, pubs, and shops, they are all ready to have you in our city, and they're looking forward to serving you. Tomorrow afternoon, we will have more information on progress of return to full water service. That will be at 2 p.m., and it'll be right here at the Emergency Operations Center. I'll now turn it over to Jose to field questions from the media.
Megan from Global.
Yeah, so for the mayor, this morning, the Infrastructure and Planning Committee received the initial proposal from administration for that third-party review. It wasn't approved, it won't move forward, there needs to be some tweaks. What were your thoughts on what was presented this morning?
So I greatly appreciated the fact that Chief Administrative Officer Duckworth wanted to come to us early and say that there was going to be an independent incident review. I appreciate the action that's been taken, but I found that we got ourselves tied up into administrative processes in the way that we brought this forward. And so there were some guidelines that were saying the independent review panel should be treated like a committee of administration. There were some indications that there had to be some training about city policies. And I think the vast majority of us on that committee felt that we were trying to make an independent process too administration heavy. So it has gone back, and we've asked CAO Duckworth to come back to us with something that's considerably more independent. Many ideas were floated. Perhaps we could use a recruiter. Perhaps we could use an independent advisory panel to select a chair. But at some point, we do have to choose a chair and a panel and get down to the work at hand.
We also heard that the timeline will be closer to, at minimum, a year as opposed to that 5 months. Are there any concerns with how much that grew?
So I think administration did what they could with the knowledge that they had when they put this report together. And I believe their desire to be quick in turning around the results was to also hit our November budget timelines. And I think in speaking with industry experts, folks who have been through incidents like this and understand what an independent review would entail, I think there was a lot more clarity around the fact that to be comprehensive and offer Calgarians all the answers that we need, this will take a longer period of time. So I do know that we're interested in getting updates from the chair and the panel at regular intervals, but the complete work may not be done until some point next year.
With the current restrictions, there are outdoor water restrictions, but is there a reason specifically that the outdoor pools are not filled? It's summer now. It's going to be very hot in the next couple of days. A lot of people rely on swimming lessons and camps for their kids at this time.
So we fully appreciate and understand the impacts of maintaining those outdoor pools closed. The trigger for opening those pools is going from a stage 4 water restriction to a stage 3. So we're looking at accelerating and getting to that point as quickly as we can by putting the system back into operation, which will then allow those pools to open.
Follow-up, Alicia?
I guess just clarification on which indoor city pools are not open at this point, and if that's part of, which ones are using more water.
So the indoor city pools are open as of today. So we do have a few amenities that we still need to bring back on. That's things like our hot tubs, some of our play areas and our water slides that need to come back on, but the city infrastructure is back open at this time.
Jen with City News.
Earlier, Mayor, when this disruption happened, you were encouraging people, to conserve water, to drink some beer. And so, we're leading into the best, the greatest show on earth. Are you encouraging people, during these water conservation hours to drink craft beer from our local Calgarian breweries?
So on Father's Day, I had a bit of a moment of levity where I took in some tips from dads that were sending us their water saving measures. And one had written in that you should drink more beer and less water. Someone else had said only the faintest hint of water in your scotch. Those were meant to be lighthearted. But I do have to say that with things coming back into regular use, I know that a lot of our brewers and a lot of our bottlers are going to be happy to be getting back to business. And I would say if you are someone who chooses to imbibe, absolutely, we have great craft beer and locally made products that you can enjoy. And if you're someone that does not partake, we have many, many non-alcoholic options. The big thing being there's something for everyone in our city, and there's a festival or an event for all of you to take in.
Follow-up, Jen?
Thank you.
Alicia with CTV.
From what you're saying, it sounds like the next move will be to go to stage 3 water restrictions and not back to none as we were before this feeder main break. Is there a reason for that?
So the natural progression is simply recognizing that we want to be able to change the water restrictions as quickly as possible. So if you look at the natural path, if we can get to a point where we can lift a restriction from 4 to 3, we'd want to do it as soon as we can, as opposed to holding back until we can lift all the restrictions.
Any further questions? Thank you very much for being here. I'll turn it back to the mayor to close.
Thanks, everybody. We appreciate your questions, and we appreciate our media partners getting the word out to everyone in terms of what you can and should do. Please keep at it. Please keep your indoor water use to one that is easing you back to regular usage. Please do not use outdoor water at all at this time. The fire ban is also still in place. We will bring you all the news we have as we have it. We'll be back here again tomorrow at 2 o'clock, and every time there's an update to be shared, we'll make sure that we get the information out to you. Have a great day.